Extreme flooding in western Washington forcing some people from their homes.
Those waters blocking roads and parts of highways, leaving drivers no choice but to find another way around.
Our crews are live this morning, keeping you up to date with the latest problem areas and the spots you'll definitely want to avoid until the heavy rains and flooding quiet down a little bit.
This is Q13 News This Morning.
And that is the good news. We are seeing it quiet down just a little bit. Good morning to you. I'm Bill Wixie.
I'm Liz DeWicki. We also have some school closures and delays to let you know about this morning here. First off, in King County, Riverview School District is closed today. Issaquah and Lake Washington School starting 2 hours late, as well as St. Joseph School. And then in Enumclaw, that school district there, and Muckleshoot Tribal School, those are running an hour late. So in Pierce County, take a look. Ording schools closed today. Tacoma Community College's Tacoma campus is still closed for classes. Eatonville and White River running 2 hours late as well. And then in Lewis County, White Pass School District is also closed. There are some other changes to bus routes as well. We're continuing to follow those updates throughout the morning.
And you can see all that information on our website, Q13FOX.com. This morning, we have team coverage on this active weather that we're seeing. We're tracking everything from flooding, road closures, to the impact on your drive times. First, though, let's check in with MJ, tracking your forecast for this Friday, and finally starting to dissipate a little bit.
Just a little bit, but there's one more round of rain on way this evening, and then we're going to see some nice drying around here. 44 in Seattle right now, which is well above our low of 37, and it's just misty in Seattle. You'll need the intermittent feature on your windshield wiper, but not nearly the downpour that we had all day yesterday. And look at all those dry spots out there. That's awesome news. But East King County, including Snoqualmie Pass, rain is still going down the mountains into rivers here, which is why we're still seeing so much flooding in Carnation, Duval, areas like that. But around Lake Washington, we're looking pretty good. Everett, Tacoma, dry every now and then, a little blob of rain. And this evening, like I said, it ramps up again one more time for the evening commute. 51 for the high today, Seattle and Tacoma, upper 40s for Everett, Bremerton, and Bellingham. And things are going to start cooling down, by the way, tomorrow as well. So jacket with a hood necessary today. You will be pulling out your sunglasses over the weekend. I can't wait to show you Futurecast right now. Adam, how are those soaking wet roads?
Well, checking out what we've been finding here, for example, the ramps from I-5 to Mercer were impacted earlier just because of a disabled vehicle. Now these ramps getting into downtown Seattle, not as bad, but just look at the look at the visibility here. You get the sense of the drizzle, the mist, the rain that's just been making things miserable for us continues this morning. Been watching a overall Friday light start in many regards. North 405 busier through the Renton curves, kind of volumes packed in where we've come to expect them to be, moving through Tacoma or Puyallup or moving up the Valley Freeway. Not really surprising at all. Valley Freeway, I-5 more of a dance from 18 to 516 to South Center. North 405 clogged Renton curves. Again, out of the North 5 and 405, no major surprises for us. It's things in the outlying areas where we've seen a lot of that water over the roadway. We saw it yesterday. We're seeing more of it today. I would say if you saw it yesterday, chances are you will see it again today. State ferries so far this morning have been on time. Sounder Rail, the North Line, was canceled due to a mudslide. Mountain passes, Snoqualmie Pass, no restrictions. Stevens Pass, closed due to a snowslide. White Pass, traction tires advised, no oversized loads. Guys, back over to you.
High waters are really forcing some western Washington families into unthinkable emergency situations. The Issaquah Creek rising so quickly that 11 people, including children, had to be rescued yesterday. Floodwaters forcing 200 others to evacuate their apartment complex.
So families along the Nisqually River also being urged to evacuate as those floodwaters rise. Let's check in with Allie Bradley in Thurston County this morning. And Allie, as the sun starts to rise over western Washington, we're getting a better look at the damage there.
You are exactly right, Bill. That's exactly what I was just saying to our photojournalist, Fernando, is now that the sun's coming out, the waters out here, it is, I mean, it's impressive. It is so much overflowed of its banks here at the Nisqually. And this is mostly because La Grande Dam has been releasing water because that was overflowing. So the Nisqually, this is what we're dealt with now. And what they were saying, some of the residents here were outside of the an apartment complex, the Riverside Manor Apartments. And one of the residents here was telling me, hey, it flooded in 2006, but nothing like this. And now they can't even get back to access their apartments. They can't even find out if there was damage because this that I'm standing in, this is one of the entrances. The other entrance here, that is covered by a downed tree. So we do have some video from earlier here just across the street. We're seeing houses basically underwater. There's a fire hydrant that, I mean, that water is almost over top of that. So for some perspective, that's how high the water is right now. And at that time, that was at high tide. As of right now, we haven't seen the waters rise much more. We do know those evacuations were in place yesterday. A lot of people did heed that warning and they left. Now, there are some folks that stayed in their apartments. However, we do know a lot of people evacuated yesterday, and that downed tree is now what is causing all the issues here. We've seen several people try to get back there. One guy actually went over the tree because he wanted to figure out if his stuff was okay. But really, it's a big problem. And the sheriff is saying there's nothing they can do about it because this is private property. So there's about 50 units back there that are isolated right now. One of the residents tells me that only 2 of them were empty. So we have a lot of people that are trying to get back there and see what the damage is because some of them don't have insurance. And so now they're dealing with a mess on top of a mess. And really, we're just off of the Old Pacific Highway here, and the traffic is streaming through. And luckily, the water hasn't reached the roadway here. But gosh, I mean, this is just, like I said, so impressive going all the way back. There's an apartment complex that's just isolated back there. Nobody can access their things, figure out what to do next. And so this is going to be an ongoing problem here for folks today and tomorrow as the rain just continues to fall here. So we'll keep an eye on this. We know that the Red Cross is helping those evacuees here. And so some of these folks stayed with families. Some of them use the Red Cross. But this morning, they're waking up to another big mess with that downed tree, really stranding them even further. So that's the latest here in unincorporated Thurston County. We'll send it back to you now in the studio.
Allie, appreciate it. We also want to get to Q13's John Hopperstad because the Snoqualmie River reaching dangerous levels right now, closing roads and making it hard for people to get out of Falls City and Carnation. Hi, John.
Hi guys, yeah, the Snoqualmie River and the Tolt River both at phase 3 this morning. That means we could see significant flooding, and we already have throughout the area more than 24 roads closed. Actually sounds like and feels like we're up next to a creek right now if you look at it, but this is the middle of a road right here. This is Northeast 80th, right off Snoqualmie Valley Road. We're in the Union Hill, Novelty Hill area, and again the Carnation area as well. But you could see what's happened here. It's actually, all this water has dragged this debris and these rocks onto the roadway here. So there could be damage to this road as well once they get this all cleaned up. They're gonna have to take a close look. You go beyond that road closed sign and the road is completely underwater here this morning. And that's kind of what we've seen throughout the area here. Earlier off 124th. And that was about under 5 feet of water. So some serious situations around here as far as getting around the area. And that's one of the reasons that they've closed schools for the day in this area. Some folks have been trying to hold off the water over the last several hours in their neighborhoods. We got some pictures of how things are looking in the Griffin Creek neighborhood of Carnation. Neighbors telling us they've never seen raging waters quite like that. And to make matters worse, a tree fell into the creek there. That diverted even more water towards their homes.
It's about 1.5 feet of water we're holding back, and it was just gushing through there. It took out all the wood chips from our play area and dumped those on our front lawn. The neighbor's shed over here, you couldn't see underneath it. It just had water all the way.
Some families saying the garage and crawl spaces are getting water. They're busy putting up sandbags, and that's something that probably a lot of people are doing throughout King County and Snohomish County this morning. King County Emergency Management also putting out a warning saying residents of the Carnation area advised to stay alert to changing river and weather conditions and be prepared to respond quickly. Now, as bad as this road looks right now where we are at Northeast 80th, we have followed 203 into the Duval area that eventually becomes Duval Monroe Road, and that was completely closed. However, it has been opened back up to northbound lanes. They are open now in that area, and even the southbound lanes, as we were driving along on it, all we really saw was maybe a big puddle in the southbound lanes at one point that may cause you to hydroplane a little bit, but it wasn't water across the entire roadway. So some of the roads are getting better this morning, but again, about 24, maybe more, of the roads in the Carnation area are closed. And places like here in Northeast 80th, you could see the mess that's made here. Once they clean this up, again, there could be damage to this road as well. So this could be closed for a while. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
John, thank you. Drivers and homeowners in South King County are coping with flooding as well. This here is State Route 169, right by Cedar Grove Road in the Maple Valley area. State Department of Transportation closed it because of the deep water, and no word just yet when this area is going to reopen.
Also, right now, Highway 410 near Enumclaw is closed. If you live in that area, you can get in and out, but you need an escort and you need to have your ID with you. And as you can see here, multiple slides and water over the roadway are to blame for this closure, which stretches from milepost 26 to just east of Greenwater at milepost 49. Crews working to clear away that debris as quickly and safely as they can. So the cleanup is definitely underway, and the dry out isn't far off, it sounds like, MJ.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing more dryness around, and this weekend we're finally going to see some sunshine again. It's 44 in Seattle right now, really murky looking across Lake Union from our building on Westlake Avenue. We can't see across the lake right now. This is Snoqualmie Pass, still very dark, of course, but it is just raining up there right now. That's changing tomorrow. Now, our atmospheric river, our Pineapple Express emanating from Hawaii, is breaking up. Gah! Get out of there. Quit throwing all that water at us. This is great news. We are seeing less of the fire hose pointed at us, but we're going to start bringing in some colder air, and we're going to start drying up around here. We're much drier than yesterday. That's great news. East King County, though, still very wet. There's Snoqualmie Pass still getting rain down the mountain slopes into rivers. We have seen some rivers kind of get back inside their banks again, which is good news. Look how dry it is in Pierce County. Awesome. Tacoma, Puyallup, Auburn, Spanaway, much, much better. Yelm, Roy, one little drop of rain there. South of Olympia, we got a little bit, but Olympia itself drying up, which is good news for people in that Nisqually Basin. And to the north, wow, dry all the way up to Bellingham at this point, and Clallam County much drier. So this is great news. We do have all these rivers under flood stage right now. I won't name them all. That's on my Facebook page, MJ Weather, if you want to check your area. Watching Futurecast, by lunchtime, still some rain around, and this band of rain marches through for our evening commute. Okay, it's the last one for a while. And then overnight tonight and tomorrow, we get the showers kind of moving out of here, but you can see that we've got some more snow in the mountains. It's going to be colder tomorrow, and that's actually good news. It captures the water as snow rather than rain, and it doesn't go down the mountains. And then tomorrow evening, look at this, we're almost dry, and there's your Sunday. I don't even see a cloud. It's going to be sunny, if you can believe it. We just got to hold on, keep breathing, okay? So rain at times today, 51 for Seattle, Burien, Bellevue, 49 for Bremerton and Bainbridge Island, still mild, but 46 tomorrow, morning rain tapering off, breezy, mountain snow, and then Sunday and Monday, sunshine, upper 40s, and then the rest of next week, just a few showers around, so not nearly as crazy as it's been. I just wanted to give you something gorgeous to look at, a beautiful morning shot from Kurt on Camano Island looking out over the water. Thank you for that moment of zen. Okay, Adam, back to activity. What's happening on the roads?
Yeah, let's talk about this moment of zen right here. You could actually zen out northbound 405 right in through the Renton curves to Kennydale, Newcastle. Just continuing northbound on 405. That stays kind of ugly for us. South 405, look at the rain that's just hitting us right here. No, don't look at it. Avert your eyes. Save yourself. Drivers trying to make your way through Nisqually, DuPont, Stillicum. All of this starts out, I would say, pretty average. Tacoma, Puyallup, usual lineups and tie-ups continue for a Friday, getting out of town and moving north. We've seen the Valley Freeway and I-5 from 18 to 516 to South Center, still with that cling of a backup there. It's just kind of holding on a little bit more. Renton curves, Kennydale, Newcastle, we already saw that with our DOT camera shot, plus our floating bridge decks. The bridge decks actually handle nicely today, doing all right. South 5 and South 405, right on down through the county line, staying fairly ugly. Have heard of some water that's starting to pool up in the sort of the Marysville area, and as you move further north in towards Smoky Point, getting up towards 45 Road, you'll find US 2 also pressuring on the trestle now, getting into I-5 territory. Want to pull the map out for a second and kind of give you an idea of where I've seen a lot of the flooding happening. Mudslides on 410, flooding in through Buckley and South Prairie, Pacific, Auburn, moving in towards Maple Valley, getting in through Issaquah, Carnation, Toll Hill Road, moving up towards Monroe. This whole area, these swaths, if you've seen the flooding in the area for the last several days, it's still happening today. That hasn't changed in that regard. We have seen the rivers maybe come down a little bit, but these roads out of commission. Still going to be that way for a while by the looks of it. State ferries so far this morning have checked in on time. Sounder Rail. The South line handles all right. It's the North line that's canceled due to a landslide. It finally happened. We were just kind of waiting for that to happen. Said, it's usually about now. Boom, it did. Meanwhile, Snoqualmie Pass, no restrictions. Stevens Pass, closed for a snowslide. White Pass, traction tires advised, and no oversized loads. Liz. And Bill, back over to you.
Coming up next, the Seattle Dragons just a day away from making their season opener in the XFL. Why the league commissioner is really excited about our fans.